This is a very brief background video so that you better understand the political primary documents you're about to look at. So we're going to be examining the politics of the late Reconstruction era, starting with the presidency of Ulysses S. Grant. So he became president after Johnson. We know Johnson did not have a very good reputation with the radical Republicans in Congress. Grant had a better reputation with these radical Republicans in general. First off, because of his military record, he was a prominent Union Army general securing a number of victories in the West. He was also president when the 15th Amendment was ratified, which secured the right to vote for all African American men. He also signed the KKK Acts, also known as the Enforcement Acts, into law. This suspended the habeas corpus rights of Klan affiliates, which allowed them to be imprisoned much more easily. It eventually led to the Klan's disbandment, driving them underground. We know eventually it will experience a resurgence, not until the 1920s. This is not to undermine the emphasis of the Klan, but it did do quite a bit to suppress the power that they had in terrorizing the South. He was also president when the Transcontinental Railroad was completed in 1869, indicating general economic growth and expansion of infrastructure. But there were some issues during his presidency, some problems. So the financial panic of 1873 took place during his second term. We're going to talk about that more in the next station of primary documents. But he was also president during a number of scandals. The most famous one was called the Whiskey Ring. You're going to look at a document specifically about that. That was where whiskey distillers bribed members of the Treasury Department to avoid paying taxes. And so this was actually a scandal that involved Grant's cabinet, not Grant himself, but it still was not good for Grant's presidency because it led to increased public distrust of Republicans in general. Moving forward to 1876, the election, as I just said, Republicans were getting not so good of a reputation. Also, as the southern states were getting reconstructed, we started to see an increased presence of Democrats in local, state, and national political positions. So that led to a much tighter race in 1876 for the presidency, and it was nearly a tie. One of your documents is going to be looking at some of that data. And there were some disputed votes in the Electoral College. So when that happens, the House of Representatives debates the issue. And when they did that, they eventually decided to give the presidency to the Republican, Rutherford B. Hayes. But there was an exchange to appease the Democrats. And what that did was it essentially removed all the remaining Union troops from the South. And that effectively ended the military enforcement of Reconstruction. And over time, we're going to see that these states are going to do everything they can to restore white supremacist rule. They're going to pass Jim Crow laws to ignore Reconstruction amendments. And that is essentially the end of at least the political accomplishments of Reconstruction. So go ahead and look at the documents now. I hope this helps.